At Embry Riddle Aeronautical University today, and I have Krushan Patel with me. He's from India, and I can't wait to talk to him because last year when I first met him, and I didn't really know you then, but I had an incident at NIFA SafeCon up in Ohio, at Dublin, and my car got stuck in the mud, and Krushan and four other...
It was 4 to 5, yes.
4 to 5 other flight team guys came out and pushed me out of the mud.
Yes, I remember
And
that.
I'm sure your pants were all...
I think it was the same pants, because could be, yeah. I grew up in Mumbai. It's in India. It's on the western coast of India. It's also one of the biggest cities there. Big airport, huge planes come in, which I can see sometimes from my house window, like A380s, 777s, everything.
So you live close to the airport? Or?
It's about 4 to 5 miles away, but this time-wise it would take me about 45 minutes. But when one of the runways, the approach for that, it goes right through my window, so sometimes I can see those.
When was the very first time that you ever were on an airplane? How old were you?
I think I was about 4 to 5 years old.
4 to 5.
It was an ATR 72.
It was what?
It was an ATR 72, a turboprop.
ATR?
Yep. And I got to visit the cockpit too, I still remember that.
Where did that go?
It was from Mumbai to a city called Udaipur, which is in a state called Rajasthan. It's one of the oldest cities and has a lot of cultural heritage and stuff like that. So I was going with my parents just as a tourist to see it, because even they had never been there before, and my dad had some time off, so it was a good vacation. I don't remember much because I was so young, but I have seen the pictures, so yep. Oh, I came here with 0 hours.
Okay.
Yep. But I had there used to be people in my house, all pilots, talking about stuff, and my uncle used to have some small get-togethers or just friends meeting up. So I just used to sit there by the side, listen to them talking, trying to comprehend what they were saying.
Sure.
Some of them said, because some of them were instructors on the 737 as well, so they were just talking about their instances with their students. So I just tried to comprehend what it meant, and now I kind of understand what they were saying, because... Yep.
Is your uncle still flying?
Yeah, he's still flying. He's actually the chief pilot for that airline now.
Well, maybe you could go work for him.
I would love to, but yeah, I'd love to work for him, especially under him, and someday maybe fly with him as well.
Yeah. How did you find out about Embry Riddle? How did you end up here?
I was just doing my research, which flight school I want to go to, and I obviously took his advice as well, and he had heard about Embry Riddle as well, because some of his seniors in the airline were from Embry Riddle, and some of the new employees, I think, were from Embry Riddle too. So he had heard really good things about Embry Riddle, so he told me to look it up, and I did. And then when I saw everything, I made my mind that I wanted to come here. It was either this or maybe there was a flight school in India, which is really good as well. So it was either this or that.
When you decided to come here now, did you come with any other friends, or are there any other kids from India, or did you just...
Oh yeah, my roommate was actually from the same city as me. But we never met. We just knew about each other through other friends and stuff, because we are from different schools, but we knew that we were going to be here together.
So that helped?
That kind of helped, yeah.
Yeah. And did I ask you what year in school you are?
Right now I'm a junior.
You're a junior.
Yep.
Okay, and you're a junior, so here it is. What licenses do you have right now? Commercial now?
No, I don't have my commercial yet, but I'll have it soon. I have my private with instrument rating.
And you have your instrument?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, some schools have it different where they do the instrument rating with a multi after the commercial. But at Riddle, we do it differently. We get a private and an instrument, and then we do a commercial.
Sure, sure. At this stage, then, about how many hours would you have?
I have about 210.
Oh, you have that much?
Yeah.
Right now.
I do a lot of flying other than my flight training, which is with the flight team.
That's right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, and we've already talked about you wanted to fly for an airline.
Yeah. I do ground events like SCAN, also called Simulated Comprehensive Aircraft Navigation, where they give us a scenario about a cross country with about 3 to 4 different legs and a lot of other information. And we have to answer questions based on FARs, aim knowledge, and we have to make climb, descents, climb, cruise, and descent profiles and answer those questions.
Okay.
And the other ground event I do is computer accuracy, where we use a wheel called CR3. CR3 computer, it's like an E6V, but just a more advanced version of it. And we answer a couple of navigation questions. Navigation, weight and balance, just pertaining to a normal flight.
I see.
The other ground event I do is IFR simulated flight, where they give us an IFR cross country and we fly that on a simulator. But there are a lot of restrictions of what features of the glass cockpit we can use.
Oh.
Yeah, like we cannot use bearing pointers, and it has to be really precise. So they penalize us for if we don't fly the airspeed that they give us, the headings, the courses, altitudes, stuff like that, coordinated turns, if we don't have standard rate. Those are just a couple of things where they penalize us.
Any flying events do you participate in?
Yes, I do landings,
Do you?
precision landings, and I do aircraft navigation and message drop.
You get to practice here quite a bit? Or?
Yeah, we get about 2 blocks, which 2 blocks per week, and every Saturday we as a whole team go down to a small airport called Massey Ranch, which is about 30 minutes south of Daytona, and we are standing on the line and judging everyone's landings every Saturday at 7 a.m. and we're there till about, on an average, till 1 p.m. And also side by side on the same day we do message drop, where we put a top next to the runway. It's about, I think we did about 50 feet next to the runway, and then we just do a low approach, which is about 200 feet, and we just drop a message bomb and see who has the closest.
How close have you come?
I actually came once, it was 8 feet.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was this semester during practice.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, so I was a flyer and I have a dropper.
Yeah?
So basically I just try my best predicting the winds and how they're going to be. So, and then if it's a wind from the right, I'll fly right of the top, and then my dropper will just, when he seems appropriate, he'll just drop it from the window.
So you communicate between the two
Yeah.
of you?
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of things do you say when you're getting in close?
When you're getting in close, his head is outside looking at the top. So basically, he's just, usually what I like to do is he has his hand out like that, and then he's telling me what to do. So this is my directions.
So he has his left hand doing that, and his right hand's holding the drop.
Yep. So the last few seconds get pretty intense. Yeah.
Can you how do you judge what the wind is? Are there any flags or anything on the ground that you
We have a glass cockpit, the G1000 glass cockpit, so it has a wind vector.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So just using that, we see what it's going to be like and expect the best.
Sure.
Yep.
What kind of wind conditions were the day that you got within 8 feet of it?
I don't remember, but I think most of it was a headwind.
A headwind.
Yep.
Is that preferable?
It is preferable, for especially when you're coming in to land, but because for dropping, winds really doesn't matter from where it is. If it's strong, then it's only going to be a problem because you'll have to be way far out, and the message isn't very heavy, so it can drift with the wind really easily.
And why do you use the malls?
We use the malls for the landing events. They're made for short field and takeoffs. Short field takeoffs and landings, my bad.
Right.
Yep. Especially designed for that. They're also used in a lot of bush flying activities all over the world, and and what they have really different dynamics than the Skyhawks, which is the other airplane that I fly, and it's easier to do short field landings in that.
In the mall?
In the mall,
In
yep.
the mall.
Hmm.
What about the other schools? What kind of airplanes do most schools use?
Some use the Skyhawks, some use Cessna 150s, 152s, some of them use Piper Warriors. Hmm.
Are you the only school that uses them all?
Yeah, we're the only school right now that uses the malls.
Interesting. Have you used that for a long time? Has the school used that for a long time?
I think the school has used that for about, I think this is third or the fourth year with the malls,
Okay.
according to my knowledge, because they were there before I joined the team. And yeah, so it's definitely more than 2 to 3 years now.
What's your favorite flying event?
Navigation. No, that's in the airplane.
That's in the airplane.
Yep. So what they do is, we have 2 people in the plane. One is the pilot, one is the observer, and they give us cross-country routes and pictures of the checkpoints that we have to fly over, and a piece of sectional where they mark approximate locations on the VFR sectional chart.
Mm-hmm.
And we just plan time, distance, ground speed, and fuel, and we give it to them in a form. So say from takeoff to point 1 was going to be 10 minutes 53 seconds. We have to be there at 10 minutes 53 seconds, otherwise for every 1 second we get penalized.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the persons goes into the planning rooms. They get about 30 minutes to plan this. We get onto an airplane, they put up a GPS, and we fly that route. And if I say I planned 9 gallons, and if I go over it, it's a DQ. And yeah,
Over it is a DQ.
over it is a DQ, and you get 10% to be below it. So if I plan 9 gallons, it has to be between 8.1 and 9.
Okay.
Yep, so that one gets pretty intense as well, and it's my favorite event, I think. Like, we have people from all different countries, from Asia, Europe, America,
On the team.
on the team. And we have different majors. Not all of them are just aeronautical science students, which is the pilot degree at Embry Riddle, but we have engineers, we have aviation maintenance science majors. We used to have someone doing MBA.
Oh, really?
Yep. Masters. Yep. Mm-hmm. My main aim, and one of the reasons why I'm doing engineering, is I want to be a test pilot.
Oh.
Yep. So after getting a few thousand hours as a captain, my plan is to try out for a test pilot school and see what happens further from there.
So you have several different avenues that you might go down.
Yeah. I have an engineering, because since I'm a software engineer, I could work as that, or as an instructor, or straight out as an airline pilot once I graduate.
How do you think you're going to make a decision here?
I think I'll do what I love the best, which right now is flying.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have to fall back upon something else, then I always have an option. I don't minding it, but I just have different priority levels for each of them.
Sure.
Yep. So my major is software engineering, and my minor is flight. So
Okay.
the flight minor basically covers your flight training up to multi-commercial, and a few classes from the aeronautical science department, which I think they have to be a 300 level or higher. So classes like flight planning, aerodynamics, performance, and I think I have to take two of them to graduate with that minor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so since it's an aviation school, most of our professors in the software engineering department, they either worked for the FAA, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. So they have a pretty strong knowledge about how avionics work. And some of our classes even related to all these different avionics systems. Like one of the classes I'm taking called real-time systems. I'm learning about how avionics actually works. So sometimes when I'm flying, I'm trying to think, okay, what's going on behind the scenes over there?
Yeah.
And the different components that I use pertaining to hardware, what's happening.
Do you use the G1000? Is that in that plane?
Yes, we use a G1000 for our Cessnas and G500 for the Piper Arrows.
Okay. Sounds like a perfect marriage. The two different things.
I guess, yeah. And yeah, one of my professors, I think he is into research for the next gen routes that the FAA is developing.
Yeah.
So he keeps talking about that sometimes, and that really sounds interesting. And I think I would love to get an internship or something pertaining to that. Because as a pilot, I think I could help them out as well from a pilot's perspective, and mixing engineering with that.
How is that system going to work?
So basically, you're aware of STARS, right? Standard Arrival Procedures, which includes a lot of leveling, descending and then leveling off, descending and then leveling off.
Right.
So from research, what they found out is that your fuel consumption goes up by significantly high percentage. But if you use these next-gen routes, it's going to be descending down a profile without leveling off, so that's going to save a lot of fuel. So that's the main aim for that, from what I've read.
System?
Yeah, that's going to be a satellite
That'll be
system.
a satellite system. I think that's a wrap.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
No problem. My pleasure.